So I have to say, my personal favorite bit is near the end when George Harrison decides he's just leaving, which is extraordinary kind of low key announcement, isn't it? Really, we
Yeah,
don't see it coming at
no
all.
shouting match. Just suddenly says, "Where are you going to?" "Oh, I'm leaving the Beatles."
And so the rest of them try and react with similarly kind of muted in fashion. Nobody goes down on the bended knees and begs him to stay or anything like that. And my personal favorite exchange in this whole thing is Mal Evans is, of course, the Beatles' faithful roadie who'd come with them from Liverpool in 1962 and had been through all their trials and all their adventures. And in this film, he's kind of like a Shakespearean servant character, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is a kind of honest son of toil kind of thing. He's the man who, when they're working at Maxwell's Silver Hammer, Paul says it'd be really good if you could get an anvil and a hammer. And somehow somehow in the middle of Twickenham,
and his
in the
kind
middle
of
of the day,
childlike glee when he's
it.
bang bang, it's just wonderful, isn't it? And he's
You'd
there
be
to
thrilled.
transcribe all their lyrics while they're writing the songs. It's really interesting.
Anyway, when George announces he's leaving, he says to George, "Well, I'll speak to George Martin and make sure you still get your residuals," which is just an extraordinary kind of way of looking at this thing that was going to lead to court cases that would go on forever. That somehow he still thought it was like, okay, we come down from Liverpool in 1963. We've had 5 or 6 years down here, which is only like a university course and a gap year. It's not that long. We'll all just go back to our normal lives, but there'll be a few quid that will come from this. And so we'll sort of do all right. And so there's no sense from any of them that this thing is going to go on forever. There is no hint of that at any stage. In fact, John has an alternative plan, doesn't he?
Well,
George doesn't come back.
I think they're really in denial, aren't they? They're in shock when he says he's leaving, and they just kind of won't accept it. And there's this terrible moment when they go into this kind of frenzied thing, just Paul and John and George just kind of hammering their instruments in this kind of freak out, And then Yoko Ono then joins in and starts wailing, which is very much John's plan, possibly to turn the Beatles into the Plastic Ono band. And at one point he says, "Oh well, if he's not back on Tuesday, then we'll get Eric Clapton in," which he clearly couldn't have meant. They're just in denial. They just can't deal with it. And Paul turns to Maureen Starkey at one point and says, "D7, A7, E7. Learn all those three, and you're in the group on Wednesday." And